Bachelorette Michelle Young takes next step to wedding day. Bachelorette Michelle Young is ready to start forever with her fiancé Jack Leas. The two have been sharing more wedding plans lately. She recently revealed that their wedding will be happening in 2025. Now, she's sharing even more, and she took the next big step toward getting to her wedding day. What did she do? Keep reading to get all the details. Michelle Young took another big step toward wedding. Former Bachelorette Michelle Young took another big step toward her wedding day. She and Jack Leas plan to wed sometime later in 2025. The two have already set the date and the venue, although those have not been disclosed to the public. Along with that, she also shared they will be getting married in Minnesota, where they both are from. She's happy and busy planning her big day. She shared on Instagram stories that she and some of her family members went to try on wedding dresses. Michelle shared a photo of herself standing in front of a row of wedding dresses. She then shared another with her standing between some family. She said, "Tears were shed." So far, Michelle didn't say whether or not she said yes to the dress, nor did she share any photos of her in a few of the gowns. However, it's safe to assume if she hasn't made a decision already, she will be making one very soon. She found love after heartache. Fans are happy that Michelle Young found love after Nate Olukoya broke her heart. She and Nate were engaged after she gave him her final rose on The Bachelorette. However, he would never move to Minnesota to be with her, and the two appeared to have issues from the beginning. They did, and he suddenly ended things with her. After she and Nate broke up, fate led her to Jack Leas. The two have been nearly inseparable since meeting for the first time. They now live together and are excited to become husband and wife. The duo went public with their engagement in December 2024. Previously, it took some time for them to share how they met, and it's a very sweet story. They revealed the details last March and said Jack had seen Michelle at a rodeo. He knew she was a mutual friend of one of his friends, so he messaged him and asked to be introduced to Michelle. Michelle said at the time, "Meanwhile, I happened to be at this Vikings boot camp with some of my friends, and the person who asked to introduce us was the brother of one of my best friends. I jokingly asked Garrett if he knew anyone who's single and said that the dating apps are absolutely horrid. He said, 'Actually, have I ever introduced you to Jack?'" Little did Michelle know that Jack had asked him the night before to meet her. Neither Jack nor Michelle knew that the other was interested. They didn't learn this fact until later in their relationship. After initially meeting, their relationship moved very swiftly, and they are both extremely happy. What do you think about Michelle trying on wedding dresses and getting ready for her big day? Stay tuned for more updates on all your Bachelor Nation favorites. Jamie is a nurse and a mom of boys whose true passion is writing. She loves reality, cooking, and paranormal too. Jamie has been writing online for several years. Michelle Young stood in front of the mirror, the soft glow of the bridal boutique's chandelier casting a warm light over her reflection. The delicate lace of the wedding gown she wore hugged her frame in all the right places, the intricate floral embroidery cascading down to the flowing train. Her fingers lightly traced the beaded detailing along the bodice, a mixture of emotions bubbling inside her, excitement, nervousness, and the undeniable realization that she was truly one step closer to her wedding day. The former bachelorette had found love in front of millions, but the journey to this moment had been anything but ordinary. As she turned slightly, admiring the gown from different angles, her best friend and maid of honor, Danielle, let out a delighted squeal. "That's the one, Michelle. Oh my gosh, you're glowing." Danielle clapped her hands together, her eyes shimmering with emotion. Michelle turned to her mother, Lavon, who had been quietly wiping away tears from the plush seat in the boutique's private fitting room. "Mom?" Michelle asked softly. Lavon took a deep breath and nodded, her voice thick with emotion. "You look breathtaking, sweetheart. Your dad would have loved to see this." Michelle's heart clenched at the mention of her father. Though he had passed a few years ago, she felt his presence with her every step of the way. She placed a hand over her heart, taking a moment to center herself before a soft knock at the door interrupted the moment.
Her fiancé.
The man who had won her final rose on national television. The man who had stood by her side through the highs and lows of life post-Bachelorette. He wasn't supposed to see her in her wedding dress before the big day, but knowing him, he had likely sensed her emotions and wanted to check in. Danielle quickly shielded Michelle from the doorway. "No peeking, mister. We have rules, you know." I know, Nate said with a chuckle from behind the door. I just wanted to hear her voice. Michelle smiled, stepping closer but staying hidden from view. "I'm okay, Nate, just taking it all in." "You better not cry too much," he teased. "You know I'll be a mess when I see you walking down the aisle." Danielle swooned dramatically. "Ugh, you two are disgustingly adorable." With one last deep breath, Michelle turned back to the mirror. She was ready. This was happening. The next chapter of her life was unfolding, and she couldn't wait to take each step toward forever with Nate by her side. Wedding planning chaos and joy. The weeks leading up to the wedding were a whirlwind of excitement and stress. Between finalizing the guest list, cake tastings, floral arrangements, and dance rehearsals, Michelle found herself balancing wedding planning with her passion, education. As a former teacher, she had never strayed far from her roots, and she was determined to use her platform to continue advocating for children's education. Her students, past and present, had been an integral part of her journey, and she had even invited some of them to play a small role in the wedding. The thought of seeing their beaming faces on her big day filled her heart with warmth. One afternoon, while going over wedding details with Danielle and her wedding planner, Michelle received an unexpected call from her former Bachelorette co-star and close friend, Caitlin Bristow. "Michelle, how's the bride-to-be?" Caitlin's energetic voice rang through the phone. Michelle sighed playfully. "Overwhelmed, excited, but mostly just ready to marry Nate already." Caitlin laughed. "That's exactly how you should feel. Listen, I have a little surprise for you. I'm throwing you a Bachelorette getaway, and before you say anything, everything is already planned. You just need to pack a bag." Michelle's eyes widened. "Caitlin, you did not." "Oh, I did, and you'll love it. No backing out." Before she could protest further, Caitlin hung up, leaving Michelle speechless. She turned to Danielle, who simply smirked. "I may or may not have helped with the plans." Michelle shook her head with a laugh. "I have the best friends ever." Bachelorette getaway. A few days later, Michelle found herself on a private beach in Tulum, surrounded by her closest friends. The weekend was filled with laughter, sunset dinners, beach yoga, and even an impromptu karaoke night, where Michelle belted out "Love Story" by Taylor Swift while her friends cheered her on. One night, as they sat around a bonfire, Caitlin raised a toast. "To Michelle, who is about to embark on the most beautiful journey of her life. We've all watched you grow, love, and inspire, and we couldn't be happier for you." Tears welled in Michelle's eyes as she clinked her glass with everyone else's. In that moment, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the people in her life. The wedding day. The day had finally arrived. Michelle sat in the bridal suite, her heart pounding in her chest, as she took in the sight of her wedding dress hanging before her. The air buzzed with excitement as her bridesmaids helped her get ready. When the time came to walk down the aisle, she took a deep breath, gripping her bouquet tightly. As the doors opened, her eyes locked with Nate's, and all the nerves melted away. The love in his gaze was undeniable, and as she took each step toward him, she knew this was exactly where she was meant to be. With vows exchanged, tears shed, and an overwhelming amount of love surrounding them, Michelle and Nate sealed their forever with a kiss. Their journey had been unconventional, but in the end, love had led them exactly where they were meant to be. As they danced the night away under the stars, Michelle couldn't help but whisper to Nate, "This is just the beginning." And with that, their love story continued, stronger than ever.